bro, crazy, bro. Where we at? Where we? Bro, shit, you not, dude. I want this shit, bro. What's up? Bro, what's up? Bro, okay. I think the audio is great now. Man, after a long time, boys. I know after a long time. I'm really sorry. I apologize, guys. Bro, I want. I think I do have a headphone somewhere, dude. Okay. This headphone is not working. Let's see, boys. ठीक है. Okay, perfect. चलो, okay. This is good, right? I mean, ऐसा ही setup होता है हर किसी का, right? That's right. That's right. That's right. चलो, okay. This sounds good to me.
You know, I can still recall the shudder of an army truck outside our door every 1 to 2 years. It was Agra one day, Wellington the next, and Palampur after that. You see, my dad was in the army, so I've grown up in over 10 cities. That is, that. 10 and also 10 goodbyes. 10 methodically take items off a horrible inventory list that he'll make every single time, while my mother neatly packed in the memories she wanted to carry with her. You see, as a kid, I found it very exciting. A new city was just a new adventure. But it never really occurred to me how lucky we were. Because unlike the rest of India, we didn't pay rent or scramble for a landlord's approval.
That shit is getting a little scary now. Bhai, I don't know why, bhai.
We had aid from government quarters, a protective bubble of guaranteed housing. Outside those gates, though, a different reality. I can still recall.
Bro, what? Bro, what is happening? What is happening? Oh, what? Bro, I'm just gonna disable this shit, dude. Damn. Okay.
The shudder of an army truck outside our door every 1 to 2 years. It was Agra one day, Wellington the next, and Palampur after.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So this was the problem, huh? Acha, okay. So this was not the problem, huh?
After that. You see, my dad was in the army, so
Oh
I've grown up
yes.
in over 10 cities. That is
Oh
10
yes.
different homes, 10 front doors, and also 10 goodbyes.
Oh yes.
I
Oh yes.
watched my dad methodically take items off a horrible inventory list that he'd make every
Perfect.
single time,
Okay.
while my mother neatly packed in the
So just to give you guys a little bit of context, eh? Let's just well, bro, shit. What am I doing? This has to be over here,
memory she wanted to carry with
and
her.
this has to be over
See, as a
here.
kid, I found
Now
it
we are
very
good.
exciting. A new city was just a new adventure, but it never really occurred to me how lucky.
What am I doing, dude? I'm just so sorry, guys. All right, I'm not still very comfortable with this whole thing. You know, I'm doing it once again, right? It's a new world for me. Yeah, new world.
We were. Because
So yeah, so just to sort of give you guys a little bit of context, what is happening here? What the hell is happening here, right? So just to guys give you guys a little bit of context, I'm thinking of an idea, and I won't be displaying that idea exactly what I have in my mind, but I have an idea to collect data a little bit on the real estate side, on the tier 2 side of the cities, right? So that is the overall idea that I have. So my plan is to sort of from ground, I want to build a database which tells people about the tier 2 and tier 3 cities residential real estate market, not just residential, also commercial, and also farmland. So that is essentially the goal, to collect all that data, create heat maps which can tell people in what regions they can find the perfect buy for their long term investment in like tier 2 cities close by their own city, right? So when I'm saying tier 2 and tier 3 cities, I'm considering a lot of cities here. I will just so when I say tier 2 and tier 3 cities, I am talking about Satara, because that is a very close by city to me. I live in Pune, so Satara. Then I will be moving forward to Nagpur, because Satara is going to be something that I am doing for sample, right? I want to study how it's done. I want to study that entire market, create a framework for the study, and then implement that to Nagpur, right? And Satara is a city very close by to Pune, so if I have to visit Satara, I will do that. I will go to Satara and talk to people, and talk to real estate people, talk to, observe stuff, also create sample data, actual data, on ground data, which I will have to pick up in order to study Satara in detail, right? So, and once that is done, I can replicate a similar model, maybe a little different, because now Nagpur is a little different than Satara for obvious reasons, right? Every district is different than the other. So in Satara there are different kind of businesses than in Nagpur. So I'll have to change my model a little bit to get to accommodate specialities of Nagpur in the model, but I will be at least sure of how I want to create that sample data, and how I want to present it, and what would be the factors that I want to take into consideration, and how exactly I'm going to create that sample data, how exactly I'm going to collect all of the data. That I will obviously have a basic framework from the Satara project. So just to sort of announce I'm giving myself a deadline of 3 months, right? It's relatively a short timeline, of course. I mean, not even 3 months. I'm going to give myself just, let's not be in hurry, I guess. But I'm still okay. Fine. Today is what, 10th of March. I'm giving myself time till last week of May. That is March, April, and May. Right. We sort of have 2.5 months, and we need to have the deadline in mind. So what I'll just quickly do is I'll create that deadline. I have to see that deadline every time I come live. It's important. So I'll do Satara. I don't just want to collect the data, but I want to be able to also understand the overall framework of what I'm going to really work on. So I just don't want, so I want that project to complete in just 2.5 months, right? Satara data project, I'm just saying, right? I mean, I do not have a name for everything. Project deadline is what I'm saying, right? So that is 31st of May. May is the deadline. Yeah. So I want myself to be reminded every single time that this is what you are aiming for. Uh, okay, so I'm just going to pick red here because red is something that 31st of May. Yup, perfect. Perfect. So should we just keep it over here? Okay, on top of the screen. Perfect. 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 So I want myself to complete that within this time. Now, I want myself to be sort of accustomed with the real estate market, first of all. Right? First of all, I want to understand the real estate market in its very, very depth. Overall real estate market, and I want to be able to figure out what kind of inputs the real estate companies need in order to start their new investments in new cities. What kind of information they are looking for, what data points, what parameters they want, what kind of a market they look at before they invest in any sort of a city, what kind of, yeah, those parameters I want, right? What parameters they take care of, what developments they look at, what kind of statistics they need about a particular region before they put their investments on the table. So, to be honest, I'm not looking at Satara as a complete jilha, right? Now, Satara is an entire big jilha, right? So, it has different talukas, right? It has close to what, 12, 13 talukas inside of Satara, but the main city is the main taluka place, that is Satara. So what my plan is, or what I'm thinking of, is that I want to focus on Satara as a taluka, right? The Satara main tehsil place, the main city of Satara is what I'm looking at. Because I always think that it is important to sort of have a narrow I have to consider the entire jilha, but I can actually eliminate a few talukas here and there, or maybe I can also eliminate a few talukas as well as eliminate a few regions inside those talukas and just focus on a few regions. Because let's say now I'm, inside of Jilha Satara, there's a taluka called, what it's called, I forgot the name of the taluka. Shit, Khandala, right? There is a taluka called Khandala, inside which there is a village called Shirwad, right? That Shirwad also has an MIDC. So it's an important region that way, right? So you need to focus on Shirwad a little bit, because there is MIDC over there and we need to consider all the MIDCs in that region, right? It's important. MIDC is important, right? So we can eliminate a few talukas. If there is nothing, no major economic development in that taluka, we can eliminate that, right? Okay. I think the framework looks okay. The way I'm thinking about it seems okay. But I want myself to I'm going to give myself like a week or so. Okay, I'm going to also put that deadline over here. I think putting deadline is going to help me a lot, right? So I'm going to answer the fundamental question, that is, what is real estate? Okay, fundamental question, that what data do real estate companies need, right? A fucking fundamental question that I need to be able to answer in the coming 2 weeks. Just this week, right? So this is under this week agenda, right? Oh, holy nuts. Oh shit, dude. Okay, so I cannot copy this or what? Bro, shit. Get out of here, dude. I'm saying delete, right? Okay, just delete this. I need to add a new text. This is just so complicated, dude, I must say. Okay. What data real estate companies need? Simple and fundamental question that I need to answer in week 1, right? A very, very fundamental and a very good question to ask. What do these companies need? Is what we have to figure out first. Right? So, this is week 1. Very good start, I would say. Right? What data do they want? And for that, I need to understand what exactly is the real estate market in India. So for that, I need to also read a couple of books. One of the thing is I need to read a complete freaking book, or at least not read it, but just glimpse through an entire book, cover all of its sections, learn it, sort of document it somewhere, right? Just go through what all points I think are important in real estate, right? And what all data points or parameters I need to think of while doing the further research. So what what is real estate is what the first question is from the week 1, right? So that is what we are going to answer today, right? Week 1, day 1. Okay. Okay. It's always important to stay hydrated, you know. And why I'm looking at these videos, dude? Because, bro, no matter how much, bro, I'm just trying to cover my bald spot, right? Just freak this shit. I'm getting bald, dude. That's just a fact right now, bro. Who gives a who gives a shit? Nobody gives a shit. Okay? Nobody cares.
Because unlike the rest of India, we didn't pay rent or scramble for a landlord's approval. We had aid from government quarters, a protective bubble of guaranteed housing. Outside those gates, though, a different reality was unfolding. For millions, home is a perpetual scramble. Between 2019 and 2024 alone, house prices in India's top 10 cities have soared by 88%. Homes have now morphed into a luxury that very few can afford. On average, humans spend around 90,000 hours indoors in their lifetime. Our home is our checkpoint. We begin and end every single day there. But if these walls vanish at the landlord's whim or are never within our financial reach, how are we supposed to even anchor ourselves?
It's 9:15. How am I already underwater?
I'm in the same boat.
I'm in an actual boat.
I thought.
So, I'm not going to discredit all the research that other people are doing. First thing what I've realized is, I mean, so far from from the experience that I have on YouTube, some of these guys have done really good research on these subjects, right? So it is very arrogant from my side to not to just simply discredit these videos and just move on, because I love watching these videos, right? And they have done thorough research, right? I mean, it's not a joke. They have put in a lot of effort into making these videos. So I'm not going to discredit it. I know it's fun. It's fun to watch these videos genuinely. So I have fun while watching these. So I want to create and generate my interest in these subjects. So the best way to do it is to watch these videos and generate freaking interest, right? I mean, I'm just so sorry. I haven't. Yeah, I think now it's better, right? I mean, you guys will be able to see it now, eh? Okay, perfect. Calm.
See, for the last few generations, one directive was hammered into all of us. study hard, get a job, buy your own place. House ownership was literally the pinnacle of success. Now, with all these new housing projects constantly being developed, it should be an easy path to achieving this, no? Let me tell you another stat here. You know, in Indian cities, 11 million houses sit empty. That's enough to house an entire nation like Switzerland. Meanwhile, 47.3 million families endure slums or unlit underpasses, sleeping in tents or under tarps. This is the paradox we're dealing with right now. And it's important for us to understand it just to be sure what our role is going to be in this evolving crisis. You know, I used to think any individual who was able to save diligently would be able to afford a house. But man, when I looked at the numbers, I saw a stark reality. According to reports, Mumbai's price to income ratio is around 14.3, meaning
So there's a problem, I know. You guys must be hearing a little bit of echo because I do not have a headphone, but I'm really sorry, guys. I cannot solve that problem for today, guys. Why am I having this accent? I don't know, honestly. Dude, I have a headphone over here. Yep, I have a headphone over here, boys. Perfect then. Why? Okay, perfect. Yup. Yup.
you need 14 years of your
Perfect.
entire salary, food, bills, everything to buy a standard home. To put this in perspective, for New York, it's 10.3, Berlin, 9.1, and in New Delhi, it's around 10.1. Experts say anything above 5 is basically unaffordable. Even the supposedly cheaper metros like Pune or Chennai hover around 5 to 7. Forget buying a home outright. Let's say you decide to take a home loan to buy a house.
Bro, Pune is the best city in the world, just saying. Just putting it out there, bro. It's the best city in the world, bro.
For that also, you need to look at one metric called the EMI to income ratio. So for a house to be affordable, the ideal EMI to income ratio needs to be under 50%. But if you look at the average EMI to income ratio in India, it's around 61%, with Mumbai being 116% and Delhi at 82%. See, I'll tell you what happened. So during the lockdown, people fled expensive rentals and went back home, leaving all the landlords in a deficit of profits. But the moment offices resumed, a stampede back to city centers motivated these same landlords to hike up rent prices and make up for all the lost time. The result? Rents jumped so high that in Mumbai, an average junior employee might spend their entire salary just on a 1 BHK, leaving zero for savings or daily life. Essentially, they have turned the housing market into a survival game. This is absolute madness. You know what's crazier? Even for folks who can afford to rent a house, the rules of rentals are literally changing day by day. So just last month, a lot of our team members moved to Bangalore and they were telling us how their landlords asked for their website before approving their rental application. So even when we were buying a house, the builder asked for our social profiles. And this made me realize how having a strong online presence has become so crucial, not just for housing, but for building trust in any aspect of life. Whether it's to land a better job, showcase your portfolio, land new client projects, or even to buy a home, your digital identity is the first impression to Odoo. AI can even and add images.
See, brother, I'm here to learn about the industry. Come on now.
Or choose from Odoo's integrated stock image library. No ads, with unlimited hosting and support. You even get a custom domain free for a year. Dealing with picky landlords or building a professional more affordable to establish your online presence. Speaking of affordability, prices, we need to look at the issue through 3 prominent lenses. They seem unrelated, but are interconnected in intricate ways. FSI, or Floor Space Index, could be the single biggest piece of invisible architecture shaping our skylines. In Manhattan, FSI goes up to 25, which means they foster the potential for very tall vertical buildings. In Mumbai, the FSI is 1.3 in prime zones, stunting supply. As population floods in, land prices inflate, but fewer homes are developed. So you see, in the 1970s, policymakers tried controlling density, but it inadvertently skyrocketed land prices. Today, maybe 500 families own 60% of prime land in Mumbai. They can dribble out projects at inflated margins anytime. Some experts argue raising FSI by just 50% might slice housing costs by 30%. But who profits from limiting floors? Politicians, well-connected builders, and the 1% with large land banks. This artificial scarcity begets big bucks. Meanwhile, the rest of us fight for fewer slices of a very expensive pizza. British economist John Maynard Keynes warned about rentier capitalism, which is basically an economic system where wealth is derived from the ownership or control of assets that generate rent. It's basically valuing ownership over productive activities like manufacturing, innovation, or labor. In India's post-COVID scenario, we see it in real time. So around then, demand for houses had surged by 72%.
So what
Scenario,
is
we
he saying?
see
My
it.
dream job is to become a PG owner in Bangalore. Do nothing, get a whooping
It in real time. So around then, demand for houses had surged by 72% in some metros and landlords smelled blood. Tenants were made to deposit 10 months rent upfront, abiding by random landlord rules or facing abrupt evictions if they disputed a rent hike. The hush-hush truth, if you won't pay, there's probably an IT professional who will. We have effectively crowned a new landlord class. Instead of farmland, they own 2 BHKs in prime locals. Instead of collecting grains, they collect monthly EFTs. Some call it feudalism 2.0. You pay or you leave. Finally, we have the elephant in the room.
Do I have
Did
to
you know
walk? I
around
cannot sit.
77% of Indian household wealth is in real estate?
यार मैं
For this
नहीं
in
कर सकता
perspective,
भाई ये.
in the US, it's just
I'm sorry भाई,
44%.
मैं
The
नहीं कर सकता. I have to walk. My back hurts.
It implies a very dark truth. Black money often runs the show. Indians often store wealth in property, many times using unaccounted money. It's so normalized that some sellers casually offer a black discount if you pay under the table. And this leads to artificial inflation of prices, as the ones who are capable of paying in black are favored over those who prefer formal financing. Additionally, the tax revenue that is lost would have actually gone on to aid housing projects, but not in this case due to corruption. Further, these house owners who bought the property using black money just lock up the houses and keep it stagnant. A property agent once told me, you see those ghost apartments? They are piggy banks for investors. See, if rent yields are only 2 to 4%, why even bother renting it out? It's too much a hassle. Let the price appreciate. You see, here housing is not about shelter, it's become about reaping capital gains and circulating black money while ordinary folks are checked out of the equation. Back in 2008, the economic housing market crashed and caused a global economic meltdown.
The National Association of Realtors reported the worst month-to-month drop in existing home sales since they started keeping track in the late 90s.
要买的话买不起，因为现在房子很贵的。
你像北京这么高的房价，还挺可怕。
China's housing market has been in a slump since 2019, and if we don't learn from past mistakes, we are also going to be following their footsteps down a similar scary spiral. Luckily, just as there are cautionary tales to look at, there are also great examples of problem solving that we've seen in other countries. So back in the 1960s, most Singaporeans lived in overcrowded slums and squatter settlements. Recognizing their dire situation, they launched the Housing and Development Board. The HDB was tasked with systematically acquiring land at low cost and building or selling flats at subsidized rates. Their operation model has proven to be extremely successful, and today 80% of Singaporeans live in HDB flats, with over 90% of them owning it themselves, which is actually one of the highest home ownership rates in the world. It's not just Singapore, we also have the example of Vienna. After World War I, the socialist government launched a social housing program called Red Vienna. They started building public housing units funded by a progressive tax system. This commitment was strictly carried through even after World War II, and their dedicated efforts paid huge dividends. 25% of the Viennese people rent from the city itself at below market rates. Another 25% of them live in housing provided by limited profit associations. These are organizations that operate under strict regulations, and their involvement in the housing market ensures rent prices remain stable. And best of all, you need to look at Tokyo's innovations when it comes to housing. So they have no height restrictions and minimal red tape, which basically means that their FSI is really high, allowing tall buildings, and they have streamlined or cut down the bureaucratic hurdles when it comes to construction projects, making it easier for developers to innovate. And the single family zones in Los Angeles or Sydney, where wealthy rich families occupy large acres of land for peaceful isolation, in Tokyo, these zones don't exist. This allows for higher density housing to be built even in residential areas. So when Tokyo's population soared, inflation was kept in check as they had evolved their infrastructure to account for all the changes. Now, you might say that a lot of these solutions don't apply to India because India literally dwarfs these places in scale. But the principle here, that's treating housing as vital infrastructure rather than a pure commodity, applies universally. If you want to learn how to make videos like the one you're watching right now, let me give you a glimpse of what it takes. Takes an army in high demand. With the right training in creator, so if you're somebody who wants to sign up for the free, a small city state it can transform slums into stable homes, so can a subcontinent if it harnesses resources and crushes corruption. Now, I'm no expert, but we must address land ownership itself. You see, if we keep treating land as a commodity for speculation, we will remain trapped. But if communities, co-ops, or the government hold land and lease it to occupants,
It's like buying a stock, huh? Speculation is like buying a stock. It's like you have bought a stock for 80 lakhs rupees. Okay.
this speculation fizzles. That is exactly how Vienna partially keeps prices stable. The other thing we could do is enforce vacancy taxes on empty properties, pushing owners to either rent or sell. Because honestly, a vacant high rise is an insult to a family living under a plastic sheet. See, if FSI can't be increased by 50%, efforts must go into detailed and transparent breakdown of the city's infrastructure. We need to do this so we can arrive at the most optimal number that will fight against this crisis. And finally, putting in place organizations with limited profits and aiding buyers who don't partake in black money practices, similar to how Vienna does, might alleviate some of the strain from the market. If all of these potential solutions and other efforts shouted out by the experts in the field are implemented, maybe we can effectively provide the first and foremost basic need, that's shelter. Again, I come back to the difference between a house and a home. We say home is where the heart is, often implying a portable nature to the idea of a home. And yet,
Bro,
as
just
one gets older, we somehow mimic the trait.
I mean, the video was a little slow, I must say, dude. Real estate market in India. Someone must have made some video, right? Some good video. Will it last? So why Indian real estate is a bubble? Study IQ. Okay, let's see. Let's see this one, huh? Huh, gang?
Study
So
IQ.
from what I have understood, right? India needs more cities. India needs more cities, is what I understand. See, there is no other solution to this problem of population density than to create more cities. People like cities, man. Let's be honest, people like cities. And the best thing, the best thing about Pune and Mumbai is that, bro, Pune grew because of proximity with Mumbai. And that's a fact, dude. Think about it, right? I mean, Pune grew because of proximity to Mumbai. And now Satara, dude, right? The place that we are going to study first, rather, is Satara, right? So my very rough approximation is that in the next 50 years, let's say, that Satara is also going to grow because of proximity to Pune. Is it that easy? I don't know, right? Nashik is also there. It has proximity to Mumbai. Not so much, but a little bit, right? Surat is there, right? I mean, these are the things that we have to think of. These are the tier 2 cities in India which will grow in the next 50 years. Alhamdulillah, right? They will grow. Jai Shri Ram. Bhai, come on. Come on now. Yeah? They have to grow, right? There is no other option. We need to create more cities in order to make it more sustainable. The tier 2 cities are going to come in the next 20 to 30 years, alhamdulillah, right? Let's see.
QIS. आपका सिलेक्शन हमारा मिशन।
दोस्तों, मैं बीते लगभग 10 सालों से एनसीआर में किराए के घर में रह रहा हूं। अब किराए का घर है तो ना तो उसकी दीवार अपनी है और ना ही छत। ऐसे में मकान मालिक की परमिशन के बिना मैं दीवारों का रंग बदलना तो छोड़िए, अपनी पसंद की सीनरी लगाने के लिए भी उस पर एक कील तक नहीं लगा सकता। यही कारण है कि कुछ हफ्तों पहले मुझे ये विचार आया कि क्यों ना अब एक छोटा ही सही मगर खुद का मकान या फ्लैट खरीद लिया जाए। असल में मुझे ये लगने लगा था कि इतने सालों में जी तोड़ मेहनत और पाई पाई जोड़कर मैंने इतनी सेविंग्स तो कर ही ली होगी कि इतने बड़े एनसीआर में कहीं अपने लिए एक छोटा सा घर खरीद सकूं। मगर यकीन मानिए, रियल एस्टेट मार्केट के दाम सुनकर मेरी ये गलतफहमी एक झटके में दूर हो गई, क्योंकि अपनी सेविंग्स से फ्लैट खरीदना तो छोड़िए, डाउन पेमेंट देकर लोन का मंथली ईएमआई भर पाना भी मेरे बूते से बाहर था। लेकिन फिर भी मुझे लगा कि शायद मुझे कोई गलतफहमी हुई है, और इसीलिए मैंने मुंबई, बेंगलुरु, पुणे जैसे दूसरे सिटीज में रहने वाले दोस्तों से बात की। लेकिन उनसे बात करके मुझे ये समझ में आ गया कि आखिर क्यों 59% इंडियंस को ये लगता है कि वो अपना घर कभी खरीद ही नहीं पाएंगे। दोस्तों, अगर आप यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट हैं तो
So,
आप
this is interesting, right? The fact that 48% of the people think that they cannot ever afford a house, is something that is very interesting. That signals that there has to be growth in the tier 2. Bro, there is a fascination for the tier 1 cities, right? Pune is not the largest city in the world or in India, but even if we talk about Mumbai, Delhi, bro, it's a fucking fuss, right? A lot of people go there from tier 2, tier 3 cities because it's a fuss, dude. They think that they will get money over there. Well, some do, but some just, many just don't, right? So the problem is that the tier 2 cities, I don't know, I'm just speculating at this point. It's a speculation, guys. Listen, it's a speculation. But I think because otherwise, bro, the population is not going to be sustained in the large cities. The life in the large cities is going to be unlivable. Think about the pollution here, right? Think about the residential houses, right? Let's think about the lifestyle that they are going to get. Let's just not think about anything. If our population keeps on growing, people are not going to find a house in Mumbai. They are not going to find a house in Delhi. They will have to find a house in, not even in Gurgaon, outside of Gurgaon, the tier 3 cities. They will have to do that. And it's funny enough, I mean, I think in US what has already happened is that there is more. I mean, in US you have plenty of land and less people, so they have a completely different scenario, to be honest. But still, right, the people living in the suburbs are the richer people, even in US, right? They are living like kings and queens, right? And you know, in the city areas, in the main cities, there are dorm rooms, and there are, you know, flat systems which nobody wants to live in. So that is going to happen today or tomorrow in India as well, where people will not want to live in the top cities, but they will rather want to live outside the top city, or maybe create another top city. No, no. See, creating another top city requires a lot of investment. If the investment is not there, people will invest outside of the city. First of all, because they think the real estate is cheaper, and second of all, they think that even this area's prices are going to skyrocket because of proximity to this large city. So, I think we need to figure out. So, as a builder, we need to figure out, as a residential house builder, or someone who is making, who is into the real estate industry in general, needs to figure out that. So I'm going to just quickly write questions over here, right? Which are hotspots for investment, right? Think about it. Think about it. Okay? The places in tier 2 cities which are hotspots for investment are going to be two kind of places. Either there are going to be large investments coming from outside or from the private industry, where, I mean, from the business side, where a lot of investments are happening, like the gift city, right? That government is incentivizing the gift city a lot. They can deal with foreign investments, they can invest in foreign assets from the gift city. Similarly, if there are some areas where government is incentivizing people to invest into that area, those areas are going to grow. The second kind of areas are the areas where private people, private companies will find a sweet spot for doing business, right? So those are the second kind of areas. The third kind of areas are the areas where the residential people, the private owners, are going to think that this place is a better place to live, and there is a better transport from this place to the actual city. It's a close proximity, and it's a good investment. So these are the three areas where people are going to invest, or those are going to be the hotspots for investment. It has to be a hot. It does not have to be a hotspot. It has to be a hotspot for investment. Which are hotspots for investment? It's an important question, right?
आपके लिए गेम चेंजिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी है स्टडी आईक्यू का नया संपूर्ण बैच। एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्रोग्राम जिसमें टॉप एजुकेटर्स के साथ 1000+ आवर्स की लाइव क्लासेस, पर्सनलाइज्ड मेंटरशिप्स और मेंस ये हर मंथ उड़ान स्टडी आईक्यू पर 2 होगा अचीव। स्टडी आईक्यू वेबसाइट सप्टर और रिसेंट रिपोर्ट बताती है कि देश की रियल एस्टेट स्टार्ट्स हियर। आफ्टर ऑल, क्रेडाई यानी कॉन्फेडरेशन ऑफ रियल एस्टेट डेवलपर्स एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया की रिसेंट रिपोर्ट बताती है कि देश के 8 बिग सिटीज में हमें 1 स्क्वायर फीट रेसिडेंशियल प्लेस के लिए ऑन एन एवरेज 11,000 रुपीज देना पड़ता है, जिसका मतलब है कि 6 फीट बाय 3 फीट के सिंगल बेड बराबर जगह के लिए भी मुझे लगभग 2 लाख रुपए की जरूरत होगी। और 400 स्क्वायर फीट का एक छोटा सा फ्लैट जो कि 1 BHK फ्लैट होगा, उसके लिए मुझे 44 लाख चुकाने होंगे। ऐसे में अगर हम देश के आम आदमी के लिए हाउसेस की अफोर्डेबिलिटी की बात करें तो आमतौर पर रियल एस्टेट में हाउसिंग की अफोर्डेबिलिटी को चेक करने के लिए एक पैरामीटर इस्तेमाल होता है जिससे प्राइस टू इनकम रेशियो कहा जाता है। इस रेशियो से हमें यह पता चलता है कि अगर कोई व्यक्ति अपने लिए रेसिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टी खरीदना चाहता है तो उसे प्रॉपर्टी खरीदने में आमतौर पर कितने साल की ईयरली इनकम देनी होगी। अगर हम इंडिया के अर्बन एरियाज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखें तो CACP के डेटा के अकॉर्डिंग ये प्राइस टू इनकम रेशियो 11 है, यानी देश के अर्बन एरियाज में एक आम आदमी को घर खरीदने के लिए अपने 11 साल की एनुअल इनकम को देना पड़ेगा, जबकि मुंबई मेट्रोपॉलिटन रीजन में तो ये आंकड़ा 14 से भी ज्यादा है, जबकि अफोर्डेबल प्राइस टू इनकम रेशियो की वैल्यू 5 मानी जाती है। यानी भारत में हाउसिंग प्रॉपर्टी यहाँ की एवरेज इनकम के कंपैरिजन में 2 टाइम्स से भी ज्यादा है। ध्यान रहे, यहाँ हम एक व्यक्ति की 11 या 14 इयर्स की टोटल एनुअल इनकम की बात कर रहे हैं, न कि उसकी सेविंग्स की। ऐसे में जाहिर है कि इतना पैसा सेव करने में इससे कहीं ज्यादा का वक्त लगेगा। वहीं यूएसए का एवरेज P2I 3.6, ऑस्ट्रेलिया का 7.6 और जर्मनी का 9 है। यानी इन डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज में घर खरीदना इंडिया के अर्बन एरियाज में घर खरीदने से कहीं ज्यादा सस्ता है। कंट्रीज में घर खरीद ऑस्ट्रेलिया का 7.6 और जर्मनी का 9 है। यानी इन डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज में घर खरीदना इंडिया के अर्बन एरियाज में घर खरीदने से कहीं ज्यादा सस्ता है। यही कारण है कि आज हम देश के अर्बन एरियाज में घर तभी ले पाते हैं जब हम अपनी मंथली इनकम का 61% होम लोन EMIs के रूप में देने के लिए तैयार हूं। मगर फिर मैंने सोचा कि क्यों ना मैं कुछ साल रुक जाऊं। आफ्टर ऑल, जब मेरी मंथली इनकम और सेविंग्स समय के साथ बढ़ेंगे, मैं तब अपने घर का सपना पूरा कर लूंगा। लेकिन तभी मेरी नजर रियल एस्टेट मार्केट की ग्रोथ रेट पर पड़ी, जो बताती है कि 2020 से 2024 के बीच ही मुंबई, दिल्ली, चेन्नई जैसे टॉप 10 सिटीज में यहाँ रहने वाले लोगों की इनकम 5.4% के CAGR यानी कंपाउंडेड एनुअल ग्रोथ रेट से बढ़ी है, जबकि प्रॉपर्टी के प्राइसेस ऑन एन एवरेज 9.3% के CAGR से। यही कारण है कि बीते 3 डेकेड्स में इंडिया में हाउसेस के प्राइसेस ऑन एन एवरेज 15 टाइम्स बढ़ चुके हैं। अब ऐसे में मुझे तो अब ये लगने लगा है कि शायद मैं वो ट्रेन पकड़ने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ जो ऑलरेडी प्लेटफॉर्म से निकल चुकी है। मगर इन सब आंकड़ों के बीच क्वेश्चन ये भी है कि आखिर इंडिया में अर्बन रियल एस्टेट प्राइसेस इतने ज्यादा क्यों हैं? तो चलिए आज के इस वीडियो में हम इसी इशू को डिटेल में डिस्कस करते हैं। दोस्तों, इकोनॉमिक्स का बेसिक रूल है कि जब किसी चीज की डिमांड ज्यादा हो और सप्लाई कम हो तो उसका प्राइस ऊपर जाता ही जाता है। ये रूल आलू से लेकर गोल्ड तक सब पर लागू होता है। ऐसे में मार्केट एक्सपर्ट्स का मानना है कि देश के हाउसिंग सेक्टर के साथ भी यही हो रहा है। अक्सर ये बात पॉइंट आउट की जाती है कि जिस स्पीड से इंडियन पॉपुलेशन अर्बन एरियाज में शिफ्ट हो रही है, अर्बन एरियाज का हाउसिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर उस पेस को मैच नहीं कर पा रहा है। और यही कारण है कि अर्बन एरियाज और खासतौर पर मेट्रो सिटीज में रेसिडेंशियल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के दाम आसमान छू रहे हैं। लेकिन ऐसा हो भी क्यों ना? आफ्टर ऑल, हर कोई अपने ऑफिसेज, बच्चों के स्कूल्स या नियर बाई मार्केट एरियाज की दूरी देखकर ही घर खरीदना चाहता है। मगर हाई पॉपुलेशन की वजह से डेंसली पॉपुलेटेड अर्बन एरियाज में ऐसा हो पाना कहां तक संभव है? ऐसे में एक अनार 100 बीमार वाली स्थिति खड़ी हो जाती है, जहां हर कोई अपनी क्षमता के अनुसार हायर प्राइसेस पे करके भी घर खरीद लेना चाहता है। और इसी एक्सेसिव डिमांड की वजह से हाउसेस के प्राइस आसमान छू रहे हैं। मगर देश में हाउसिंग या रियल एस्टेट की डिमांड को समझना इतना आसान नहीं है। एग्जाम्पल के लिए, एक और हम ये बात कर रहे हैं कि इंडिया में रियल एस्टेट कितना एक्सपेंसिव है, वहीं दूसरी तरफ बीते साल ही RBI द्वारा प्रेजेंटेड रिपोर्ट में यह पता चलता है कि एक इंडियन हाउस होल्ड ऑन एन एवरेज अपने टोटल एसेट्स का 77% रियल एस्टेट के फॉर्म में रखता है, जबकि चाइना
That is not right. 70 7% of your entire income is into real estate, that should not be the case. Fair enough. Fair enough. Because bro, it's an obvious bet, man. At the end of the day, real estate is a very very obvious bet. In India, see, in India we don't have enough space. We don't have enough space. What will you do if we do not have enough space when something is limited and the demand is high because the population is increasing? And the people will increase the prices of houses. I mean, the problem is, right, there can be more houses. There can be definitely more houses and more ownership of those houses. But that has to be outside cities. Again, validates the way I'm thinking of things, right? Again, validates what I'm trying to sort of think about. There has to be more cities in India.
चाइना में ये आंकड़ा 62% और यूएस में मात्र 44% है। ऐसे में इकोनॉमिस्ट्स इस बात को पॉइंट आउट करते हैं कि इंडिया में घर और जमीन की इमोशनल वैल्यू बहुत ज्यादा है। यहाँ जमीन और घर इज्जत या फिर सोशल रेस्पेक्ट से जोड़कर देखे जाते हैं। आज हाई अर्निंग एनआरआईज से लेकर लोअर मिडिल क्लास तक हर कोई घर का सपना देखता है और अपने इस सपने को पूरा करने के लिए अपनी क्षमता से ज्यादा पैसा चुकाने को भी तैयार है। मगर एक सच्चाई ये भी है कि जिनके पास ये है वो अपने एग्जिस्टिंग जमीन या घर बेचना नहीं चाहते, जिसकी वजह से रियल एस्टेट में अवेलेबल रिसोर्सेज लगातार कम होते जा रहे हैं।
So as coders, when we are working on the client solutions, we spend months trying to make sense of this data and solve problems. But when it came to
इसी तरह रिपोर्ट्स बताती हैं कि कोविड ने भी अर्बन एरियाज में रियल एस्टेट की डिमांड को पुश करने में एक की रोल प्ले किया है, जिसकी वजह से 2020 के बाद एक पोस्ट कोविड एरा में देश में हाउसेज के प्राइसेस और भी तेजी से बढ़े हैं। इस बारे में एक्सपर्ट्स का कहना है कि कोविड में वर्क फ्रॉम होम की वजह से एक तो देश के नौकरी पेशा यूथ के हाथ में सेविंग्स बढ़ी, दूसरा उसे मार्केट वल्नरेबिलिटी के बीच खुद का अपना घर होने की नीड भी समझ में आई, जिसकी वजह से अब वो रेंटेड अपार्टमेंट के बजाय जल्द से जल्द खुद के लिए घर लेना चाहता है। लेकिन अब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि यदि देश के अर्बन एरियाज में हाउसेज की डिमांड इतनी ज्यादा है तो इसकी सप्लाई कम क्यों है? आफ्टर ऑल अगर हम सप्लाई बढ़ा दें तो प्राइसेस तो काफी हद तक अफोर्डेबल हो जाएंगे। तो दोस्तों, इसके भी बहुत सारे रीजंस हैं, जिसमें पहला और मोस्ट ऑब्वियस तो यही है कि हमारे देश में पॉपुलेशन के कंपैरिजन में लैंड की अवेलेबिलिटी कम है। अब आप हैदराबाद
See, that is not true. I think this fact is not true. Right? This fact is not true. See, there are multiple problems here. The important problem is rather transportation. First thing I will say. Right? The transportation can be way better. If the transportation is better, see, in Mumbai, we still do not have a very good connectivity of metro, right? So Vasai Virar, bro, nobody is going there. Let's say there are more places like outside of Mumbai, right? Panvel and other Raigad. Raigad is a jilla that can actually grow because of Mumbai. It's in proximity to Mumbai, right? But the problem is that people are not willing to put so many hours to travel to Mumbai. It's not practical, right? But if there is higher connectivity, if there is better connectivity for people will live far away. So the land is not the problem. We have enough land. The problem is that people want to live inside the city. They want to live inside the city. They don't want to live far away outside. They want to be in the system. And that's a problem. The land is not the problem. So this is a very wrong thing, right? It's something that people should not say, that we don't have land. Bro, we have enough land. Land is not the problem. Bro, let me just say this, right? Let me just say this. Okay? Think about when you are going on a highway trip somewhere, let's say From here, if I'm going to the Satara side, the Mumbai Bangalore highway, if I go on that side, bro, like there are very less people. The density is just so low over there, dude. There are no people living, right? Land is not the problem. The problem is there are less cities. Alhamdulillah, bro. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This just only logically makes sense. See, if the infrastructure, so, bro, this is again a very important thing, right? If the infrastructure is getting strained in a particular area, so you know what kind of tier 2 cities are going to benefit the most? This the the cities which are very very in close proximity to another giant city like Gurgaon. Like, of course, I mean, let's say now, of course, Gurgaon is a giant, but Delhi was a giant. The old giant was Delhi. Now in NCR we have Gurgaon, we have Noida, we have this, we have that. So what we are looking at is small clusters which are attached to Delhi, right? So those are the cities that are going to benefit the most. So the people living in Gurgaon are going to benefit. So they I mean, back in the day, if you invested in Gurgaon, bro, you would have been a billionaire. Oh, sorry, not a, but surely a millionaire, right? I mean, today, I mean, you would have a lot of money if you invested back in the day. So that Gurgaon type cities are going to work out. If the infrastructure is getting exhausted in the nearby city, there are going to be high chances. I mean, there are different drivers to make a city, right? There are different kind of drivers. Now when I talk about Nagpur, a city like Nagpur, the driver is a little different. That Nagpur comes into the exact center of India, right? It connects a lot of cities together. It does not have any city in its proximity, any big city in its proximity, but always remember there is large logistics going on between Delhi and Bangalore, let's say, or Delhi and Chennai, so there's up and down going, a lot of up and down going, right? So usually what my understanding is, or what I have learned, that in the south things get produced and in the north they get consumed. So obviously there has to be a lot of logistics going from down to up, and Nagpur comes exactly in between. So the demand for cold storages, the demand for warehouses, the demand for logistics is very high in Nagpur. It's a logistics hub. So it's a different driver for Nagpur's economy to grow. It's not the same reason why Gurgaon grew, right? Gurgaon, exactly. I'm not saying that Gurgaon grew because गुड़गांव बढ़ा क्योंकि उसके आसपास दिल्ली था. There is of course the aspect of investments, but those investments came in Gurgaon because it was in close proximity to Delhi, right? And the resources and the infrastructure in Delhi is definitely getting pretty exhausted. Similar thing is happening in Mumbai, so they are creating another city outside of Mumbai right now, which is going to be exactly like Gurgaon, let me say. If you invest there right now, I mean, it's a good time to invest there. But the point of the matter is that you need to explore these kind of cities. I mean, of course, I still think this is not the most efficient way to look at. Because to look at city planning as a whole, if you look at the city planning as a whole, you should not be just trying to grow the city, grow the city's size, right? I mean, the size does keep on increasing. It's a fact, right? Delhi has increased, Mumbai has increased, Pune has also increased now, right? So Bangalore also has increased. So the size does increase, the density keeps on increasing. But I mean, it spreads itself for sure. But a better way to really look at city planning is to not just try to increase the density or the surface area. I mean, just it's not just important to keep on growing these cities, but it's rather important to create new cities from ground up. And that is something that Gujarat is trying to do, and nobody else is really trying. I mean, Tamil Nadu is also another place which is trying to do the same thing, trying to build multiple cities inside of the state, because you will see that in Tamil Nadu everything is very equitable, equally distributed among people. Tamil people are really smart. They are, bro. If I wanted, I wanted to be Tamil, right? They are great. They are honestly the number one people. But you know, the point of the matter is we need more cities, and not just increase the size of the current existing cities we have. So there are two opportunities in general from what I have understood. It's not just about the new cities which are completely independent, but we are also looking at the areas outside the current city which is going to grow. So what we should be looking at, because let's take the example of Pune, right? So I know that Pimpri Chinchwad is considered to be another municipality, but I'm going to, for this matter, I'm going to consider PCMC and Pune uh, in one umbrella, under one umbrella, right? So now the Pune region is growing towards Moshi, Bhosari, and all of that side is getting captured, because see, the MIDC areas are getting formed and people are now living over there. Now also Talaude on this side, right? On the west side we have Pirangut, and if you go further, then the developments are going there as well. In Bowdhan side, there lot of expansion is going on. So there are chances that the prices in Bowdhan, or the prices in, let's say, remote part of Moshi and Bosari will also increase. Bosari I'm not talking about, but Moshi and further away places, even that far away place like Talaude, those places, the real estate there can actually grow. So what sort of a approach will India take? I'm trying to think about what kind of approach our governments will take. So far the approach is, let the city grow organically, let it expand, let it spread its wings, right? That is an approach, and that, I'm not saying that is not an approach, that is an approach. Because nothing is organized, and if you are looking at an unorganized setup, it's rather easier to let a city grow organically in an unorganized setup. it's an interesting it's an interesting idea, though. You need to also sort of figure out, so I'm just going to list it down over here. consideration of city expansion areas and regions close to current metros. It's a very good consideration to have in mind. Instead of separate new cities. It's an interesting phenomena, right? And I will think about it. I will definitely think about it. Because see, there's nobody's going to stop the fact, nobody's going to avoid making new cities in the next 50 years. But if we are talking about, let's say, next 5-10 years, then what would be more beneficial as such for not just me but for the real estate players as well? They will find it very beneficial if I have a very thorough data about investments that are going on in a specific region, in a specific city. Let's say Talaude, for example, from Pune, or let's say the new Mumbai, or whatever the new Mumbai, the third Mumbai is going to be built. So those kind of investments I need to track. I need to have a data on that. And maybe that will also help a lot of people, a lot of companies. So similar to what happened in Delhi, right? Delhi could expand a lot, right? Because the land is very good over there, right? It's just flat, right? So Delhi had a very good expansion. It on this side Faridabad, this shit, that shit, on north, south, it could expand everywhere, right? But at the end, what started happening is Noida, Gurgaon, right? It did not expand into abyss. It expanded as a separate entity. It expanded as units, or as something that was attached to the body of the amoeba, but also operating very very separately and not completely depend on Delhi as such, right? It's not like the size of the amoeba is increasing. It's like the amoeba is also procreating and creating an offspring, right? An independent organism like Noida and Gurgaon. Interesting, right? So those are independent, pretty independent cities. Interestingly, that can also be the case. The government needs to plan for these kind of cities. If an amoeba has to procreate and create an entire independent new amoeba, then the government definitely has to do something, right? If, let us say, either the government or the companies, private companies, right? Some of them need to start building their freaking complexes in the new bulge, or the new amoeba, the new organism. So it's a different story that way, right? We're not talking about a completely new city, but we are not talking about expansion of the existing city. We are talking about an investment, a planned area, which is not exactly same as the expansion of the city, but it is an extension of the city for sure. It is an extension of the city but still independent. It's like having a pimple, right? I don't know, like friggin' freaking this, new organism coming out of you. It's similar to that. So it's an interesting proposition. In a close, people usually think about everything in a very tight schedule or in a very short term basis. They don't think about what's gonna happen in 50 years. Bro, I'm not going to live for next 60 years, right? They will probably think about, now we have Pune, and Pune is expanding for sure. Now, naturally, let's be honest, right? That Pune has expanded on this side, and well, this land of area seems to be a pretty good place for further expansion. People are going to invest in that area. Why would they freaking go to Satara? Bro, come on. Why would they go to freaking Satara? Right? It's just. They would go to Satara after 50 years from now. Right? They would go to Satara when they think, bro, this shit cannot be expanded further. This shit. This Pune shit, bro. This amoeba cannot grow further. When they think that, bro, then they will move on to Satara, and that's the problem. That's a big problem, right? See, now Nagpur has a driver in its own, right? The government, two drivers need to be there. Government. So I will also mention the drivers, right? I think it's very important to note this down. See, government incentives, bro, important as shit. Okay? Incentives, of course, right? First of all, government incentives. Private investments. Private, I won't say private, okay? I will say corporate investments. I won't say corporate as well. Commercial investments, right? Commercial, it's not commercial exactly. Okay, fine. Commercial investments. And residential investments. I would rather say proximity, right? Proximity. Proximity to major city. And a KPI, a unique it's not a KPI. What do you call it? A unique proposition. A unique proposition, right? Something unique about that city, something that other cities don't have, or it strategic, we can say strategic location, right? Okay, I think these are the very important drivers. What else is there, guys? These are the important drivers that I will definitely think of before investing into a new city, right? There has to be government incentives. There has to be commercial investment. That needs to have proximity to a major city, or maybe not. It's not a necessity, but it's a driver. If it's a proximity to a major city, it's a driver, right? It has something unique. Maybe, bro, it is the best city for AI, for data warehousing. Who knows, right? So that is unique proposition. Strategic location. Maybe it's a port. It's a port city, or maybe it's a city where there's a lot of tourism because of a freaking large mountain. Who knows? or it's a city. So I mean, it's always about the government incentives, right? If there are no government incentives, no commercial person is going to invest in that city. If I mean, if there are no government incentives, but there is a strategic location like Nagpur, and maybe yes, maybe that will still play out. I think this is good enough. I think these are the important drivers, and if there are more, we'll come to that at a later stage probably.
हैदराबाद का ही एग्जांपल ले लीजिए। लेटेस्ट एस्टिमेट्स के अकॉर्डिंग यहाँ पर स्क्वायर किलोमीटर 18,000 से ज्यादा लोग रहते हैं। एस्टिमेट्स की अवेलेबिलिटी कम है। अब आप हैदराबाद का ही एग्जांपल ले लीजिए। लेटेस्ट एस्टिमेट्स के अकॉर्डिंग यहाँ पर स्क्वायर किलोमीटर 18,000 से ज्यादा लोग रहते हैं। इसी तरह दिल्ली के लिए ये आंकड़ा 11,000 से ज्यादा का है। ऐसे में इतने सारे लोगों को अर्बन एरियाज में अकोमोडेट करना और वो भी अफोर्डेबल रेट्स पर आखिर कहां तक पॉसिबल है। मगर दूसरी ओर सीएसईपी की रिसर्च रिपोर्ट और इंडिया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर रिपोर्ट 2023 ये भी दावा करती हैं कि सेंट्रल और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स की लैंड यूज पॉलिसीज फ्लॉड है, जिसकी वजह से अर्बन एरियाज में जो लैंड अवेलेबल हैं भी उसे भी रेसिडेंशियल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्ड करने के लिए ठीक तरह से इस्तेमाल नहीं किया जा पा रहा। यहां तक कि इन रिपोर्ट्स में नीति आयोग के फॉर्मर सीईओ अमिताभ कांत खुद ये बात कहते हैं कि इंडिया के आधे से ज्यादा स्टैट्यूटरी टाउन्स अनप्लैन्ड और अनसाइंटिफिक मैनर में ग्रो हो रहे हैं, जिनके इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट को प्रॉपरली गाइड करने के लिए कोई भी मास्टर प्लान है ही नहीं, जिसकी वजह से इन सिटीज में डेवलप
So the requirement, if India needs to grow, it needs to have data. It needs to have data that is required for city planning. Not just for city planning, it is required for real estate as well. Real estate companies have the money. City planners have, I don't know what the fuck they have, but they have I mean, I don't know if there are many even city planners, bro. There is no job called city planner, but I mean, if there is any city planner guy out there, bro, he has the authority, right? It's a good place, man. I think it's a good, I mean, the things that I'm doing right now, I think they do make sense.
डेवलपर्स के लिए भी रेसिडेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट्स को प्लांट करना और खास तौर पर उन्हें फाइनेंस करना मुश्किल साबित होता है। मगर इसके अलावा ये रिपोर्ट एक और इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट भी हमारे साथ रखती है, जिसके अकॉर्डिंग इंडिया में राइजिंग होम प्राइसेस का एक बड़ा कारण यहाँ का लो एफएसआई यानी फ्लोर स्पेस इंडेक्स भी है। जी हाँ, एफएसआई का मतलब एक प्लॉट ऑफ लैंड पर बिल्ड होने वाले मैक्सिमम परमिसिबल बिल्ट अप एरिया से है। आसान शब्दों में आप एक प्लॉट पर कितने मंजिल की इमारत बना सकते हैं, ये वहां का एफएसआई निर्धारित करता है। अब अगर हम इन टर्म्स में इंडियन सिटीज के एफएसआई पर गौर करें तो मुंबई के अलग अलग एरियाज में एफएसआई की वैल्यू 1.33 से 5 के बीच में, जबकि दिल्ली में यह आंकड़ा 1.2 से 3.5 के बीच। इसी तरह इंडिया के बीच में, जबकि दिल्ली में यह आंकड़ा 1.2 से 3.5 के बीच। इसी तरह इंडिया के दूसरे सिटीज की भी हालत इससे कुछ अलग नहीं है। वहीं अगर हम इस कंपैरिजन में न्यूयॉर्क का एग्जांपल ले लें तो वहां का एफएसआई 15 है, जबकि टोक्यो में ये 20 और सिंगापुर में 25 है। यानी इंडिया की सबसे बड़ी सिटीज के कंपैरिजन में 5 to 8 टाइम्स तक ज्यादा। यही कारण है कि हमें इंडिया में स्काई स्क्रैपर्स यानी आसमान को छूती हुई इमारतें कम ही देखने को मिलती हैं। वो इमारतें जो एक सिटी के हॉरिजॉन्टल एक्सपेंशन के बजाय वर्टिकल एक्सपेंशन को प्रमोट करती हैं और जो इंडिया के लैंड क्रंच को इफेक्टिवली दूर कर सकती हैं। लेकिन अगर हम लेटेस्ट अवेलेबल डेटा के आधार पर इस इशू को समझने की कोशिश करें तो 2024 की शुरुआत तक इंडिया में 122 स्काई स्क्रैपर्स मौजूद थे, जबकि चाइना में ये आंकड़ा 3300 और यूएसए में ऑलमोस्ट 900 है। यहाँ तक कि इंडोनेशिया, थाईलैंड और फिलीपींस में भी इंडिया से ज्यादा स्काई स्क्रैपर्स मौजूद हैं। इसीलिए वर्ल्ड बैंक तक इंडियन सिटीज के एफएसआई रेगुलेशंस को इरेशनल और देश की इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ में हिंड्रेंस क्रिएट करने वाला बता चुका है। अब हालांकि इंडियन सिटीज में एफएसआई को कम रखने के भी सरकार के अपने तर्क हैं, जिसके बारे में उसका कहना है कि इस तरह के स्काई स्क्रैपर्स देश के अर्बन एरियाज में पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी को भी काफी कॉन्सेंट्रेट कर देते हैं, जिसे मैनेज करना मुश्किल होता है। साथ ही वो ये बात भी पॉइंट आउट करती है कि इंडिया में सिस्मिक एक्टिविटीज देखते हुए देश में स्काई स्क्रैपर्स बिल्ड करना बिल्डिंग कोड्स और रेगुलेशंस के अगेंस्ट जाता है। मगर दूसरी तरफ
Bro, this is bullshit. I think this is bullshit. I mean, this is just crazy, right? I mean, bro, I have never seen an earthquake. Just saying, just saying, just saying, right? I have never seen a seismic activity. Bro, this is a real estate freaking gang war, right? I mean, it's such a clear real estate gang war. It's something that real estate guys are freaking playing. Think about it, guys. Think about it, right? The real estate guys, what they are doing is they are trying to increase their own value, right? If let's say high sky-rise buildings are made, right? Because more people will live. Oh no, I don't think that will in any way why are they trying to maintain low FSI? Think about it. Why? Bro, there is no freaking seismic activity. I think that's just bullshit. I mean, bro, there is already such a high density of population. If there are more sky rises in cities, what's the issue? I don't think that's an issue for a real estate guy. He will freaking enjoy that shit. He will build a sky rise, sell all of the floors with more people. I mean, with less land, more people. I mean, it's just crazy. It will get crazy for him. There has to be some reason. I don't know. Well, let's just.
पॉलिसी एक्सपर्ट्स सरकार के इन एक्सक्यूजेस को बेबुनियाद करार देते हुए ये बात पॉइंट आउट करते हैं
Bro, policy experts and I am the same, huh? Jesus Christ.
है कि इंडिया को मैसिव स्केल पर सिटी प्लानिंग, नए बिल्डिंग कोड्स और लैंड एनालिसिस करने की जरूरत है, जिससे सरकार
Bro, land analysis? Holy shit, what is land analysis? Bro, what is a land analysis? Is that what I'm trying to do here? Good idea. Good freaking idea, right? This is a good one. Perfect. Perfect, right? I'm going to mention this shit. Land analysis. Yes. This is something I want to do.
बच रही है और
Hey, still thinking about joining the 30-day Python using AI bootcamp by AI for Techies? So what if in 30 days
और अपने रिग्रेसिव माइंडसेट की वजह से एफएसआई को रिवाइज नहीं करना चाहती। ऐसे में उनका सजेशन है कि अगर गवर्नमेंट देश में एफएसआई को इंक्रीज कर दे तो इससे ऑलरेडी डेंस अर्बन स्पेसेस को इफेक्टिवली प्लान किया जा सकेगा और साथ ही इससे रेसिडेंशियल और कमर्शियल स्पेसेस के प्राइसेस भी काफी हद तक कम हो जाएंगे। लेकिन सरकार और उस पर इम्प्रॉपर लैंड यूज का आरोप लगाने वालों में से कौन सही है, ये बता पाना बहुत मुश्किल है, जिसका सबसे बड़ा कारण यह है कि इंडिया में रियल एस्टेट और लैंड यूज को लेकर कोई क्रेडिबल डेटा या सिटी प्लान मौजूद।
This shit. this shit. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, I have found the right freaking big problem. I have found a big problem. I have found a big problem. I have freaking found a big problem. There's no data. Fuck, I'll get that data on this. I will get that data. Let's get it. Let's get it, boy. Alhamdulillah, I'll get it happen.
नहीं, जिसकी वजह से अक्सर ये पता ही नहीं चल पाता कि सिटी प्लान्स में आखिर कौन से जमीन रेसिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग्स के लिए एलोकेटेड हैं और कौन सी कमर्शियल या गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए। इसीलिए न्यू दिल्ली बेस्ड थिंक टैंक सेंटर फॉर कौन सी कमर्शियल या गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए। इसीलिए न्यू दिल्ली बेस्ड थिंक टैंक सेंटर फॉर सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक प्रोग्रेस का कहना है कि यही लैक ऑफ डेटा इस इंडस्ट्री को लेसर कॉम्पिटिटिव बनाने का काम भी करता है, जिससे कुछ पर्टिकुलर मार्केट प्लेयर्स ही देश के रियल एस्टेट मार्केट को कंट्रोल करते हैं।
Holy shit, this is real estate mafia to its core. Am I losing this battle with real estate giants? Am I getting killed? Or maybe I won't use that word, I won't use the K word, but am I going to get hurt? Or assassin by the large market players? Real estate guys? Am I going to get killed by them? Crazy, huh? Bro, this is crazy. This is just crazy. This is just crazy. If they are coming for me, I mean, if they are looking at this video, bro, I am an innocent child. I'm a child. Bro, they just stop. They just stop. God damn, bro.
करते हैं, जो लॉन्ग रन में इस इंडस्ट्री और हाउस बायर्स पर नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट डालते हैं। यही नहीं, लैक ऑफ डेटा की वजह से ही हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स डेवलपर्स और सप्लायर्स आर्टिफिशियली प्राइसेस को अपवर्ड पुश कर देते हैं और मार्केट में प्रॉपर्टी की एक आर्टिफिशियल डिमांड को मेंटेन रखते हैं। जी हाँ, वही आर्टिफिशियल डिमांड जिसमें सप्लाई को कम करके प्राइसेस इंक्रीज कर दी जाती है। उदाहरण के लिए दिसंबर 2024 में पब्लिश्ड एक स्टडी के अनुसार देश में 1 मिलियन से ज्यादा हाउसिंग यूनिट्स अनसोल्ड हैं, जिनके डेवलपर्स इन्हें इन्फ्लेटेड प्राइस में बेचने के लिए होल्ड किए हुए हैं। ऐसे में अक्सर ये बात पॉइंट आउट की जाती है कि इंडियन रियल एस्टेट मार्केट एक इन्फ्लेटेड बबल है जो आर्टिफिशियल डिमांड और ब्लैक मनी पर ही सस्टेन कर रहा है। वहीं ब्लैक मनी जो आज रियल एस्टेट मार्केट की काली सच्चाई बन चुकी है। असल में बीते लंबे समय से ये पॉइंट आउट किया जाता है कि इंडिया का रियल एस्टेट मार्केट ब्लैक मनी स्टोर करने का सबसे इजी और रिलायबल तरीका बन चुका है, जिसमें बायर हो या फिर सेलर दोनों ही टैक्स इवेट करने के लिए टोटल प्राइस के एक हिस्से को कैश में पेमेंट करना प्रेफर करते हैं। अब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि वो कैसे, तो आइए इसे एक एग्जांपल से समझते हैं। मान लीजिए एक बायर को फ्लैट पसंद आया है जिसकी कीमत है 1 करोड़ रुपए, जिस पर उसे जीएसटी और स्टैंप ड्यूटी मिलाकर 20% यानी 20 लाख का एडिशनल टैक्स और पे करना है, जिससे उस फ्लैट का इफेक्टिव रेट 1 करोड़ 20 लाख हो जाता है। मगर यहाँ उस फ्लैट का डेवलपर या ब्रोकर बायर को ये सजेस्ट करते हैं कि उसे ये सारा पैसा व्हाइट में देने की जरूरत नहीं है, बल्कि उसे बस सर्किल रेट व्हाइट में पे कर दीजिए। सर्किल रेट यानी उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया के लिए गवर्नमेंट द्वारा सेट किए गए प्रॉपर्टी का मिनिमम सेलिंग प्राइस। अब ऐसे में मान लीजिए कि उस एरिया का सर्किल रेट 40% है, तो यहाँ बायर को 1 करोड़ नहीं बल्कि 40 लाख रुपीस ही व्हाइट में पे करना होगा, जबकि बाकी के 60 लाख वो ब्लैक मनी के तौर पर कैश में पे कर सकता है। ऐसा करने पर बायर का फायदा यह है कि उसे भी 20% का टैक्स 1 करोड़ पर नहीं बल्कि 40 लाख पर देना होगा।
Bro, but I don't understand. I mean, I'm a dummy when it comes to the financial transactions and stuff. But let me just say this, right? I mean, so you are selling a property way cheaper than the actual price of that property, and you're selling that to some people, and you are again saying that the overall price of this overall building is 1 crore rupees, but you have sold one of the properties of that exact building for 40 lakh. Isn't that suspect? I mean, isn't that so obvious to catch on to?
20 लाख के टैक्स के बजाय अब केवल 8 लाख ही देने होंगे, जिससे उसके प्रॉपर्टी का इफेक्टिव प्राइस 1 करोड़ 20 लाख नहीं बल्कि 1 करोड़ 8 लाख हो जाएगी। अब ऐसा करके बायर ने तो अपने 12 लाख रुपए बचा लिए, मगर इससे डेवलपर 60 लाख की इनकम दिखाने से बच गया। इसी तरह करप्ट पॉलिटिशियंस, ऑफिशियल्स और टैक्स एवेडिंग बिजनेस पर्संस के बीच बेनामी प्रॉपर्टी यानी फेक या मेडअप नेम पर प्रॉपर्टी खरीदने का ट्रेंड भी कोई नया नहीं है, जहां वो अपना सारा ब्लैक मनी रियल एस्टेट में पार्क कर देते हैं। और रियल एस्टेट मार्केट में ब्लैक मनी का ऐसा रैम्पेंट यूज लॉन्ग टर्म में इसे अनअफोर्डेबल बना देने का काम कर रहा है। यही कारण है कि एक्सपर्ट्स ये मानते हैं कि इंडिया का रियल एस्टेट अपने आप में एक शैडो इकोनॉमी है, जिसमें लैंड एक्विजिशन से लेकर फ्लैट्स और हाउसेज सेल करने तक हर लेवल पर अनअकाउंटेड ब्लैक मनी का इस्तेमाल होता है। अब हालांकि इस पर नकेल कसने के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत से रूल्स इंप्लीमेंट किए हैं। उदाहरण के लिए डिजिटल इंडिया लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स मॉडर्नाइजेशन प्रोग्राम या आधार को लैंड डॉक्यूमेंट से लिंक करने जैसे प्रोग्राम्स इसी डायरेक्शन में उठाए गए कदम है। मगर रियल एस्टेट को रेगुलराइज करने में ये कितने इफेक्टिव होते हैं ये तो आने वाला वक्त ही बताएगा। मगर हम ये देख सकते हैं कि अर्बन इंडिया में रियल एस्टेट के हाई प्राइसेस बहुत से स्ट्रक्चरल इश्यूज की वजह से हैं, जिन्हें जब तक ठीक तरह से रिजॉल्व नहीं किया जाएगा तब तक मुझ जैसे आम आदमी का घर का सपना पूरा हो पाना मुश्किल ही रहेगा। तो दोस्तों, इसी के साथ हम अपने इस डिस्कशन को यहीं एंड करते हैं, लेकिन आप हमें कमेंट सेक्शन में ये जरूर बताइएगा कि क्या आपके शहरों में भी जमीन के दाम आसमान छू रहे हैं।
Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So we are looking at an industry which doesn't have the data. So bro, think about this for a second. I mean, bro, in India, we are worried about data. Bro, there is just so much unorganized market. I mean, so why are we not working on this data? Oh, I think it's a very fucking fundamental problem to solve. Right? There are so many unorganized sectors. Real estate is one of the big ones. At top level it is organized, but at the bottom it's not. So if there is, let's say, even if I just do a basic land analysis, and even if I try to sort of quantify the actual real value, somehow I come up with the actual real value of the land, maybe help the policy makers of, let's say, a city, municipality, or somewhere, right? If I'm able to produce data that is legit, that tells an actual value of that real estate, or maybe that area, that location, not just tell the actual value of that location, but to sort of kind of create a standard for, can I even do that? Can I even create a standard for pricing the real estate in some city? I cannot do that. I don't think I can do that. It's very hard. But what I can think of is I can do the land analysis. I can not just the land analysis as if the what kind of soil is there. I don't want to deal with that, but what kind of economic activities are going in that area, right? I can at least study that. I can study the prices of those lands. So let's not go to the pricing of the flats, right? I mean, the pricing of the resale value of a particular plot. I don't think it's my job to sort of create a standard pricing structure in a way. I don't think that's something that I want to do. I want what I'm thinking about is a way to sort of just do basic land analysis and trend analysis. I will write that word as well. Do land analysis and trend analysis. Right? Doing these two things will sort of help real estate guys to decide where they want to build their next property. Why would I go into standardizing the prices of houses and all that taxed evasion shit when I can rather focus on the good part of it? The land analysis part of it, the trend analysis part of it, and provide that data to the real estate guys and to government as well. I think that is very good, considering that we already know that which cities are going to grow. The largest cities in India, they are going to grow by surface area, so there has to be a line marked around them. And there are different tier 2 cities which are going to grow very slowly but very continuously with a high consistency, like an FD, like a fixed deposit. They are going to grow as well. So it's a high stake for city expansions, and it's a low stake but consistent growth for tier 2 tier 3 cities. And I think that is how I want to look at it, and that is a very good opportunity. Okay. um so see, I want myself to also give myself a little task for the next day. This is something that I want to keep on doing on a daily basis. So I will be also writing down the next task that I have. So yeah, so this is the next task that I have. I have to start reading a book on real estate. Pretty basic, man. I mean, this is getting really basic down to the ground as such. But I think this is important stuff. I need to understand what real estate shit is all about, right? I need to understand what I'm talking about here. Yeah? Perfect. Next, games to a book on real estate. That's the task for tomorrow. And the project deadline is 31st of May. That is very clear on the stream itself. Week 1, what data real estate companies need is the task for this week. We need to sort of, today it was about sort of not evaluating, but evaluating my idea and sort of reiterating the basics of what I think or what my thought process is around this entire problem, and what are the basic things, the parameters I am thinking about when it comes to doing the research, or what I'm trying to think of, or what I will be sort of doing, right? Okay, perfect. Thank you everybody for watching this stream. I don't think anybody is watching it, but anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.